Ahoy hoy everybody, and welcome to my video blog for the London Film and Comic Con 2017. This is part 1 of 3. I warn you, they're going to be long. It was a busy weekend. It is now the Monday, the day after the event finished, 31st of July. Bit of housekeeping before I start talking about the event. At the end of last year's video I mentioned I was hoping to go to the Bournemouth Comic Con towards the end of last year. Unfortunately, the main guest I wanted to see had to drop out, and then we had family issues that meant I couldn't go anyway, so that's why no video appeared about that. On to London Comic Con. Initially, when I was planning this year, I had the intention of making Saturday largely a photo shoot day and then concentrating on autographs on the Sunday. It soon became apparent with all the guests that were being announced that that would be unfeasible, so I started booking shoots for the Sunday as well, and then it became even more apparent that it would be a struggle to get everything done in the 2 days, so this year for the first time ever I went on the Friday as well. Before I continue, as you can see I'm shooting this outside because it's a lovely day. I have tried to block the wind from the microphones a bit, so hopefully it won't be too bad, but I apologise for any sound issues. Okay, carrying on. So first day was Friday. Got up at 4:45, left the house just before 5:30. Being a Friday, traffic was quite heavy getting there, so I arrived just before 7:45. When I got in the venue, which was similar layout, well, almost exactly the same layout as last year, so there was a huge loading hall that we all queued up in. Then downstairs were all the stalls, and upstairs were all the guests and photo shoots and the talk area. Yeah, so I arrived just before 7:45 in the loading hall, and I was about 2/3 of the way down the first column of queuing, so that would probably be about 300 people-ish in front of me, which was reasonable. I wasn't too worried about that. Got in promptly at 9 o'clock, headed up to collect virtual queue tickets, and then I had a little wander around just to familiarise myself with where all the photo shoot booths were and where all the guests I wanted were. Already I could see it was going to be a quiet day. It reminded me very much of how Sundays used to be at the event, so it was nice and relaxed. So I just gradually picked my way through my list of people I wanted to get. The plan was to get as many people on the Friday who were also there over the Saturday and Sunday, to make those days easier, and that's what I managed to do. So, consulting my list, the first guest I met on Friday was Sarah Douglas. Sarah played Ursa in Superman and Superman 2. That's the three villains who came down from Krypton. Originally there was meant to be a reunion of all three over the weekend, but unfortunately Jack O'Halloran had to have an operation and had to cancel late on. Sarah was also the evil queen in Conan the Destroyer, and she's done lots of other stuff. She was in the Frankie Howerd Confessions and all sorts of things. Very nice lady. There was a bit of a queue for her, and I noticed that she wasn't doing photos with anyone in front of me, even though she didn't have a sign up. So I checked with her guest assistant, who said I could take one off her, but she wasn't doing posed photos with, so I just declined taking a photo at all. But yeah, we had a little chat. It was still early, and you know, we had a little laugh about still being a bit fuzzy headed at that time of the morning, but she was a lovely lady. This is the photo she signed for me. Second guest I met was Emily Kinney. Emily's best known for playing Beth in the first 3 series, I think it is, of The Walking Dead. She was also in series 3 of Masters of Sex, and she's done various other things. She's also a singer, and she released a very good album, I think it was last year, might have been the end of 2015, called This Is War, which I heartily recommend. I hadn't ever listened to it on Thursday and still enjoyed it. And that's what I said to her when I met her, which she thanked me. She wasn't a chatty guest, but she was very pleasant. She was no post photos, but I had a shoot booked with her for Saturday, so I wasn't concerned about that. But this is the photo she signed for me. Third guest I met was Sacha Dhawan, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's been in lots of things. I think he started as one of the cast of the History Boys in the West End, and then he was in the film. He played the director Boris Hossein in An Adventure in Space and Time, which was the making of how Doctor Who started. He was in last series 4 of Sherlock, where he played Mary's ex-colleague, who one of her fellow assassins, in her last living episode. Had a big fight with Benedict Cumberbatch in Pool, which is what we chatted about, the rehearsals about, etc. Really nice man. Had a very nice little chat. This is a photo he signed for me. That's him in An Adventure in Space and Time, and he was happy to pose for a photo. Next I met Tricia Helfer. Tricia's best known for being Six in Battlestar Galactica, which took me years to watch. I only watched it all for the first time a couple of years ago, so I'm a bit late with getting autographs from the cast of that. I won't get everyone, but any major players I will get. I have, for other reasons, already got Katie Sackhoff and Jamie Bamber. But yes, Tricia was lovely. We had a quick little chat, and she was very nice. Again, no post photos, but again, I'd booked a shoot with her for Saturday, so I wasn't worried. But I picked this dramatic photo of her as a Cylon. Next up was David Morrissey. Again, David's been in lots of things. Walking Dead, he played the Governor. He was the next Doctor in the next Doctor, the Doctor Who special, David Tennant era. He's done so much. Blackpool, 739, so many things. He's taken Basic Instinct 2. Yes, he's done lots. He was very nice. We had a nice little chat. You know, he asked where I came from, who I was meeting, that sort of chat. I complimented him on the 739, which he made with Sheridan Smith, and he said he'd enjoyed making it. Again, no post photos, but I had a shoot booked with him on Sunday, so again, didn't concern me. But this is a photo from Doctor Who he signed for me. Next was Benedict Wong. He was only announced to be appearing on the Friday, late on Thursday, so it was nice that I could get him early and tick him off my list. He's probably best known now for being in Doctor Strange, but he's done lots of things, especially on British TV where they need Asian characters. He's one of the guys who's regularly appears. He's also done a lot of comedy work, which is the reason I wanted to meet him. He was the co-star of 15 Stories High, which was a sitcom that Sean Locke wrote. It was on BBC 4, I think it was BBC 4, which even I didn't pick up on until it came out on DVD, but is really good. Very quirky sort of series, probably either love or hate. As Benedict referred to it, it's a bit of an Easter egg of a series. People just don't know about it. He was also in Look Around You and Look Around You 2 and Peter Serafinovich show, and the IT Crowd. He appeared in the Countdown episode of that. He's done lots of things. Really nice guy. We had a nice little chat about comedy and what he's done. He sat there with his iPod playing music all the time, and at one point just went, yeah, let's have a disco, and just a fun little guy. Did a nice impression of David Morrissey when I said that I just met him. Yeah, really pleased. Unfortunately, he was no post photos, and I didn't have a shoot booked with him, so I haven't got a photo with him, but this is a photo he signed for me, which is from Doctor Strange, as most of his photos on his table were. Next, I met Missy Pyle. Missy, again, has been in lots of things. She's done a couple of films with Tim Burton, which is the main reason I wanted to meet her. She was in Big Fish, and she was Violet Beauregard's mum in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She was in Series 1 of Heroes. She's major role in Galaxy Quest, and as I say, she's just done lots and lots of things. I'm sure you'll probably recognise her. She had long queue all day and all day Saturday. She wasn't there Sunday. But she was really nice. She'd spotted my Prince t-shirt I was wearing, and we had a little chat about how sad it was losing him and Bowie and Alan Rickman, who of course she'd worked with in Galaxy Quest. And then we had a little chat about Tim Burton, and then she happily hopped up to have a photo with me. This is the photo from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory she signed for me. And this is me and her. Next was probably my biggest guest of the day, Pamela Anderson. I'm sure you all know who she is. Obviously came to fame in Baywatch and through Playboy, and has sort of been a regular cameo artist in a few films since then, and just generally known as a famous personality. She didn't turn up until well gone 11 o'clock, and then it was announced that she'd be doing similar times all weekend. But she was getting through the queue quite quickly. She wasn't chatty, but she was very pleasant. And I asked if she was well, and she said yes. I said that's good to hear, and she said, well, it's lovely to meet you. So yeah, a nice enough experience. This is a photo she signed for me. Obviously she was no post photos, and they were very strict about people photographing anywhere near her, but I had a photo shoot booked, so again wasn't concerned. After Pamela, I met Mark Bernardin. 99% of you won't have a clue who Mark is. He's a writer and a journalist. He's written for comics and a few things for TV. The reason I wanted to meet him is that he does a podcast with Kevin Smith called Fat Man on Batman, which is about all aspects of geek culture, not just Batman. In fact, they rarely mention Batman really. They try and swing it round if they can, but they review trailers, talk about upcoming geeky films, talk about comic books, all sorts of things. But it's a really good podcast, a lot of fun. We had a nice little chat. They did a special 2-hour podcast shortly after Prince died, which was one of the few things I was able to watch afterwards. So we had a little chat about that. But he was really nice. Yeah, initially he was announced as a comic guest, but demand for him was so high that they upgraded him to a real guest. But yes, he signed a photo for me. And happily posed for a photo, which the guest assistant took a couple for me. Next guest I met was Phil LaMarr. Reason I wanted to meet him is because he plays Marvin in Pulp Fiction. That's the guy who John Travolta shoots in the back of a car by mistake. He does loads of voice work. He voices Futurama and lots of other stuff. Again, really nice guy. Again, we talked a bit about Prince because he spotted my t-shirt and he said it was funny. He'd only just bought a Prince t-shirt and he nearly wore it that day, but he didn't. So yeah, we had a nice little chat. He signed a photo for me. Did pose for a photo with me, but for some reason, I don't know if some of the crew member did or whether I didn't turn the camera on before I gave it to him, but when I got home and checked the camera, there was no photo on there. I was going to, if I got the chance, nab him on either Saturday or Sunday and ask if he would mind taking another one, but he had a no pose photo sign up both those days, so I didn't feel it would be fair to go over and ask and put him in an awkward position. So unfortunately I don't have a photo with Phil, but as I say, he was a really nice guy. He signed this photo from Pulp Fiction for me. Somehow I don't think I'll ever get to complete it, but this is it. For those of you who don't speak autograph, by complete it I mean get signatures of everyone who's on it, so I won't get John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in this case. That was the last autograph of the day. It just left for my only photo shoot from Friday, and that was Pamela Anderson. She, by the looks of it, arrived a bit late for the shoot. Then she seemed to be in there having the test shots done, which is where they take photos and check that everyone's happy with it, particularly the artist. That seemed to be going on for about 10 minutes, so we were late getting in. Then when they did start, we were fine, we're getting through. I was concerned, well, concerned might not be the right word, but I thought maybe she'd be a bit, you know, just stand next to her, but she was happy for you to put your arm around her and what have you. However, the reason she had all the test shots is because she wanted it lit a particular way, and that way was to have a huge ring flash bulb on the front of the camera lens, so it was about so far away from you, and it means that the pictures were all coming out extremely light. So what I'll do is I'll show you how it came out, and this is it. So after I scanned it in this morning, I had a bit of a play in Photoshop, which I'm far from an expert on, but I managed to improve it slightly, so this is the improved version. That was it for the day. I saw, when I was in the queue and a couple of times inside, Jamie, aka the Phantom Fantasia on YouTube, who I've met a couple of times before and is a friend of mine now. Check out his channel, he does videos similar to this. That's the Phantom Fantasia, which isn't easy to say. I also met at last a long time internet friend of mine, Nigel, who is actually the reason or the inspiration behind me having an autograph website. I saw his site, thought it was a very good idea and started it. We've been friends quite a long time now on the internet, so it was nice to finally get to see him. His website is Could You Sign Here Please, which is at www.cyshp.co.uk. I'm sure he won't mind me pointing you that way if you want to have a look. Yeah, and that was it for Friday. Made my way home. Got home at a nice reasonable time because the Pamela shoot I was out by about 2:30, and then that was it, I could go. So I was home after I'd stopped to have something to eat. I think it was not long after 6. I can't remember exactly, but that was a nice and civilised start to the weekend. Yeah, so that's it for a Friday. Part 2 will obviously cover the Saturday, so I'll see you on that hopefully. Bye.